Hi, everybody. Sorry, I don't need to talk quite that loudly. I am the EMEA Sales Director for Alkira. We are a Silicon Valley headquartered startup focused on networking and connectivity. Essentially, as we see it, digital transformation starts with the network. The network is going to enable digital transformation for a lot of organizations, and it's a particular area that we've seen organizations struggle with in recent years as well. First of all, I'd just like to introduce my company, Alkira. So we were founded by EMEA and Atif Khan. They were part of the visionary team that founded Viptela, the SD-WAN company that was sold to Cisco in 2017. They're very much accredited with creating the SD-WAN market sector that we know today, and Alkira is their next venture, founded in 2018. Essentially, what we at Alkira want to do is to do to networking what the cloud service providers have done to compute and storage. So organizations don't think twice today about how simple it is to spin up a server in the cloud. However, networking has lagged behind. It's extremely complex, and there are lots of organizations that are struggling with things like multi-cloud networking, cloud connectivity today. And this is the challenge that we see. When we talk to our customers today, what we see is that the proliferation of their networks has taken them to a place of mass complexity. And that's driven by the aggressive move to cloud over the years. And what we've seen is these new markets or these new classes of networking evolve, which are things like networking inside the cloud and between the clouds as well. And this is only growing. It's only becoming more and more complex. What we've seen a lot of organizations do is to help get you to the cloud, provide connectivity into the different cloud service providers. But for us, it doesn't stop there. You know, organizations are now having to think about how do we network between different cloud service providers and inside those cloud service providers. And that's where Alkira comes in, and that's why we're extending our reach beyond just connectivity to the cloud. So what we've created is an industry first. It's a network as a service, which I appreciate is a very common term in the market today. We hear a lot of people talking about their own interpretation of network as a service. For us, network as a service is our globally distributed, on-demand, cloud-based, agentless network as a service. And it all starts with these hexagons that you can see on the map here inside the blue circle. They're what we call our cloud exchange points. So I'm going to go into a bit of technical detail now. Hopefully that's OK for everybody. So these cloud exchange points, the best way to think about them is as virtual colos or virtual points of presence that we've deployed and built in the cloud across the hyperscalers. So what we've built is a globally distributed, software-defined network across multiple hyperscalers with integrated management plane, control plane, and data plane. So these virtual points of presence or virtual colos, they're not VNFs. It's a distributed fabric of routers that are all meshed together in order for organizations to be able to drive their digital transformation from the network and build networks quickly, build any-to-any connectivity quickly, as well as reducing their TCO. The cloud exchange points are available wherever there's a cloud region. We call it cloud backbone as a service. So when you deploy these cloud exchange points close to your users, close to your applications, they're immediately meshed together, and then you start to build your own cloud backbone. What I'm going to do now is just talk through a couple of different use cases that we've met with customers and we've delivered for customers, as well as some of the challenges that we're helping organizations solve today. So if we start on the top right-hand side with the Alkira portal, that's kind of where the journey starts as a SaaS-based network, so you log into the portal to start building your own end-to-end, any-to-any connectivity. When you log into the Alkira portal, the first thing you do is deploy those orange hexagons you can see there, the cloud exchange points, so the virtual colos. That's the same as having the ability of logging into a portal and deploying a colo instantly. And when you deploy your second virtual colo, they're immediately meshed together and connected over that cloud backbone. A big challenge that we're helping a lot of customers solve today is around multi-cloud networking. Multi-cloud's becoming a more and more common theme because organizations, whether they like it or not, are becoming multi-cloud, whether it's through mergers, acquisitions, new business units having new demands on new cloud service providers. It's happening, and there's not a lot that organizations can do to stop that. For us, our network, because it's built in the cloud, means that we've built an overlay fabric, an overlay network across all of those cloud service providers to give you one network to operate across multiple cloud service providers. So you don't need to then become an expert in AWS as your GCP networking. You have one network that meets all of those demands. It also means that then that you don't need to deploy things like transit gateway, VPN gateway. We can attach to the spoke level VPCs and VNets within each of those cloud service providers as well. Further simplification is driven by our network services insertion. So we're able to deploy firewalls inside our networks, inside those cloud exchange points at the click of a button. You set a couple of routing policies and a couple of different auto-scale policies. We deal with all of that underlying networking complexity for you. Anybody that has any experience in deploying firewalls in the cloud will know that it's no easy task, and there's an awful lot of considerations and underlying networking that go into it. That's further complicated when you try to do that across multiple clouds as well. Usually then, once we've solved this multi-cloud networking challenge for our customers, this is where the network as a service and this end-to-end, any-to-any connectivity comes in. On the left-hand side, you can see where it says remote sites. We can bring those in via standard IPsec. As long as there's a remote site that has some form of internet connectivity, we can connect them directly to a cloud exchange point, and then from there, they've got connectivity across that cloud backbone. SD-WAN fabrics can be extended into the Alkira cloud exchange points in order for you to be able to get multi-cloud connectivity from your SD-WAN into any different cloud service providers. What we've helped organizations do with their SD-WAN is to drastically simplify the architecture as it pertains to multi-cloud, because we're seeing a lot of organizations who want to connect their SD-WAN fabric to multiple clouds, but they're having to deploy individual landing zones in different regions across the globe, and it means they're deploying lots and lots of different SD-WAN instances. Or they're investing a lot of CapEx into a large physical colo in different locations, so then they can express route or direct connect into the cloud from there. We do away with all of that. We bring the SD-WAN fabric directly into our cloud exchange point and deliver that connectivity from there. So no need for expensive colos, no need to have multiple landing zones and complex architectures everywhere. We're drastically simplifying that for organizations today too. On the bottom right-hand side, you can see where it says data centers and carrier-neutral facilities. We can bring those in via express route and direct connect. We absolutely appreciate that low-level, high-throughput connectivity is still going to be a requirement moving forward for most organizations. Where we're able to drive a better TCO for organizations here is bringing in your data center into the Alkira Cloud Exchange point and then onto multi-cloud from there. You could do that via express route, for example. That express route coming into the Cloud Exchange point can then connect to any cloud from there. So you don't need Googling to connect and fast connect, and it drives a better TCO for a lot of organizations who need that kind of connectivity. The last use case that I just wanted to touch on, and this one we're seeing predominantly is big within the sort of financial services sector, as extend across other sectors as well. And it's something that Gartner are calling extranet as a service in their recent hype cycle report for networking. Where it says business partners. Extranets are something that a lot of organizations are having to do quite manually. They're possibly deploying hardware onto their customer premises to instantiate some form of VPN tunnel into their services. They might be doing things like VRFs on routers and firewalls and segmentation, and those customers that they're working with and those business partners, their networks have been through that same journey that yours has in terms of that proliferation of networks and that massive complexity. What we're able to do is extend those business partners into your network, land them into their own segment or VRF. They can connect via any of those aforementioned methods, standard IPsec, direct connect, SD-WAN, whatever they choose. We can automate that connectivity and then give them access and connectivity into the services they need. So it massively simplifies that extranet network architecture for a lot of organizations. And if you think about financial services, they have a huge amount of B2B partners they're working with today. And simplification of that is a real key area for them. So that's the end-to-end kind of network as a service. I think the last thing I just wanted to kind of give a takeaway with is everything I've just talked about, you can build yourself, you can DIY. It's very difficult in our experience, it's very complex, especially when organizations start moving into multiple clouds and have larger, more complex, globally distributed environments. What Alkira helps organizations to do is to lower their network TCO, drive innovation, and improve the network architecture. I'll be on table 15 for the next 2 days, so if there's any more questions, feel free to stop by. Thank you for your time today.